they've done, what they've done to say that northern Gaza is not safe. And if you look at the number of men who are of an age to be a Hamas fighter, whether a professional or more likely an amateur who just picks up an AK-47 at weekends when they feel inclined and joins the crowd, you're looking at about probably 600,000 men of that age. Now, how many of that 600,000 are north of the Wadi Gaza, in the northern Gaza? We just don't know. But I mean, Hamas doesn't amount to more than at most 30 to 40,000 people. And so the Israelis, in a sense, are trying to weed out 30 or 40,000 who may have stayed in Gaza City. I suspect not that many will have really, from a potential population of 600,000 young men. And so what I suspect they'll end up doing is adopting a kind of free fire policy at any males they think are of fighting age when they see them around the city.
What would you expect their next steps to be?
Well, I think they'll complete the encirclement of Gaza City, which is important because what they'll want to do is drive Hamas individuals out of the city, and they'll want, in a sense, to keep a tab on the Salah ad-Din highway, which they control, so that they can trap them from moving south. So they'll probably want to do that, and then they'll start to move in, but fairly cautiously. I mean, the Israeli military are the most high-tech infantry-supported military in the world. I mean, they've got more gizmos than most infantry forces have got anywhere in the world, exactly for this purpose. So they've got robots and sensors and so on. But it will be very, very difficult. And you look at the issue they're facing. I mean, they've basically said that northern Gaza will be something close to a free fire zone. They've told people repeatedly to get out, whether that's practical or not. They've dropped leaflets telling them to get out. They've done, what they've done to say that northern Gaza is not safe. And if you look at the number of men who are of an age to be a Hamas fighter, whether a professional or more likely an amateur who just picks up an AK-47 at weekends when they feel inclined and joins the crowd, you're looking at about probably 600,000 men of that age. Now, how many of that 600,000 are north of the Wadi Gaza, in the northern Gaza? We just don't know. But I mean, Hamas doesn't amount to more than at most 30 to 40,000 people. And so the Israelis, in a sense, are trying to weed out 30 or 40,000 who may have stayed in Gaza City. I suspect not that many will have really, from a potential population of 600,000 young men. And so what I suspect they'll end up doing is adopting a kind of free fire policy at any males they think are of fighting age when they see them around the city.
And I mean, that's a difficulty in a way. You can say, well, you should have left by now. You could also argue that just because they are male and of an age doesn't necessarily mean that they support Hamas or that they want to kill Israeli soldiers. But this is just the situation that we find ourselves in.
This is where they've put themselves. I mean, the Israeli military are just acting blind here because they have no political strategy that's been given to them. They've told, Hamas must be destroyed, so they've got to destroy Hamas. And there's no political strategy beyond that. I mean, I can't think of an example in modern history where a military has been involved with so little political backup as to what they're supposed to achieve. And the point is that the way in which they're going about it may make the ultimate achievement. When the Israeli government decide on what it is they want to happen in Gaza afterwards, it may turn out that what the Israeli military are doing is just right, or it may turn out that what the Israeli government military is doing is completely counterproductive to what the Israeli government itself decides it wants to happen. Sending them into the situation blind, saying just destroy Hamas, and the mood in Israel at the moment is not to be particularly sensitive to who gets killed beside that. And certainly, the Israeli public is over 80% behind this. This is rough justice, no question about it. The danger is that this will become something quite unconscionable because the Israeli military doesn't know what it is supposed to achieve other than to eliminate this mysterious body of 30,000 or so fighters among a population of 600,000 young men.
But presumably that is not achievable, is it? It's not that they're not going. Surely they're not going to aim to kill 30 to 40,000 Hamas sympathizers, whatever they might be. Isn't it better, in inverted commas, to just go after the leaders. Was I think 60, I think they say so far, 60 of them have been killed.
They have, yeah, but decapitation, as they call it in the military, only works some of the time. And in a movement like Hamas, it's not going to destroy the organization. Although the organization is a cell structure, which although that's hard to penetrate, it's quite difficult for cell structures to maintain their courage against overwhelming odds because they're not in big numbers. Big numbers help people keep their courage.
Yeah, but
I mean, what I think they can do is probably take northern Gaza.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what is feasible for the Israelis is to occupy to occupy Gaza City, to occupy northern Gaza, and most of the Hamas people will either are in the south now or have escaped south. And then Israel's problem arises when they occupy northern Gaza, occupy Gaza City, then they turn to the south.
Yes.
And the problem is even greater there. So then what are they going to do? Then they'll be on a hook.
Well, the problem there is for all the civilians who've gone to the south.
Correct. And then, I mean, in about 3 or 4 weeks' time, Israel will be on such a big hook, they'll be desperate for somebody to get them off it. And that somebody has got to be some form of international organization, international community, international coalition who will say, we will take international control of Gaza. You get out, Israel get out, and we'll start another process of something. But nobody is anywhere near that at the moment. But the Israelis are on a hook, which will only get harder for them once they have occupied, as I think they will, northern Gaza and taken control of Gaza City.
Right. And when do you think that might happen?
Well, we're probably talking about weeks, not months. I mean, I think this is a months and years crisis as a whole, but the occupation of what they're now trying to do is probably a matter of some weeks. I mean, I would guess 3 or 4 weeks, something like that.
Okay. Michael, thank you for talking to us. It's Michael Clarke, who's the former director of the Royal United Services Institute.